I was a gift for Joseph. I had always behaved properly. But one accident changed everything. I got pregnant with his child. I tried to hint at it, asking, "What would you do if you had an illegitimate child?" He replied, "I wouldn't have one. What if you did?" He casually pinched my cheek and said, "Make both mother and child disappear." Baby, I don't like these hypothetical questions. My vision darkened. I was ready to deal with it quietly, without anyone knowing. The next day, Joseph was fiddling with my phone, his face grim. He cupped my chin with unsettling gentleness and asked, "Care to explain what this appointment for an abortion is?" "You're pregnant, aren't you?" Chapter 1. My dad is awesome. He never got married, had 6 mistresses, and fathered enough kids to form a soccer team. I'm number 7, right in the middle. Originally, I was just another invisible daughter, but I happened to be beautiful. My mom was a minor celebrity, not bad-looking herself, but I was even better. I inherited all the best features from both parents. I was so pretty that I'd run into 8 talent scouts just walking down the street. From childhood to now, my drawer had never been short of snacks or love letters. My admirers could form a line from Tiananmen Square all the way to the Arc de Triomphe. It used to be a headache. How could I make them give up? Before I figured it out, something unexpected happened. My dad's company hit a financial crisis. To solve it and secure funding, my dad, using his brain duller than a koala's, came up with a brilliant idea. He gave me to a powerful tycoon. And to make things worse, because I looked good, the tycoon was quite pleased. With a flick of his finger, my dad's company was saved. My dad was thrilled. The tycoon was pleased. Only I was unhappy. And now, something even worse has happened. Chapter 2. I tossed the pregnancy test into the trash, folded a few tissues to cover it up. I wanted to die. I was pregnant. My heart pounded. What should I do? There was a knock at the bathroom door. A man's deep, magnetic voice asked, "Baby, why did you lock the door?" His voice was pleasant, but the sound of it annoyed me even more. I made up an excuse. "I'm taking a shower. Outside." He said, "We've showered together before." "Baby, open the door." Playing the part, I quickly undressed, grabbed a towel, and opened the locked bathroom door. As soon as it opened, I was pulled into a broad chest before I could even see his face. He held me tight, his chin resting on top of my head. The scent of bitter orange leaves filled the air. He spoke before I could. "The woman you saw today was a classmate from middle school. She called my name. I just didn't remember her. I only talked to her because it was weird she knew me. There's nothing between us." There was nothing between us back then either. I've never been in a relationship before. Never had a thing with anyone. I didn't explain right away because I wanted you to get jealous. "Baby, don't be mad." What nonsense. I didn't respond to any of it. I said, "I'm not mad. You are. You're in a bad mood right now. That's because my period didn't come. I don't have irregular cycles. Last month, it was his birthday and he had certain requests. We stayed in all day and night. I forgot to take the pill." I held my temper and wrapped my arms around his neck. "I'm really not mad. You're imagining things." He looked down at me. I blinked at him. "Really?" His frown didn't ease. "You are." There's no reasoning with him. I didn't want to argue anymore. I leaned in and kissed him, unfastening his belt with practiced ease. Joseph suddenly pulled away. "Why is it always like this?" Then he pushed me aside and walked out of the bathroom. Huh? I stared blankly at my reflection in the mirror. Yeah, no makeup, but still stunning. My figure? Top tier. So it's definitely not my fault. What's up with Joseph? Chapter 3. After my shower, I stepped out of the bathroom. I didn't even get a word out before Joseph walked in with his pajamas. I had no idea what he was upset about. He said I was mad, but clearly, he was the one angry. I lay on the bed, bored, playing a farming game while thinking about how to cheer him up later. Joseph had a social gathering tonight. He messaged me, asking me to pick him up. It was the kind of thing a driver could handle, but he insisted on calling me instead. I figured he just couldn't stand seeing me jobless and wanted to give me something to do. So I went. I didn't like the fragrance inside the club, so I waited at the entrance. I'd left home early to be on time. so now I had to wait a while. I squatted by the curb, watching ants carry food, feeling generous. I opened a pack of biscuits, took a bite, and gave them some crumbs. By the time the ants had carried away the third crumb, Joseph finally came out. I heard voices and turned to look. Joseph, 6'2", stood out tall among the crowd. On his left was my dad, who's 5 feet 6 inches, grinning obsequiously. I grabbed another piece of biscuit and was about to go greet them, when suddenly I saw a girl lift her dress and run toward Joseph. Joseph, did you come here to see me? Her voice was sweet and crisp. She looked up at him, eyes sparkling. You knew I was flying back today? Oh, old flames meeting again? I squatted back down, continued watching the ants move food. So relaxing. Crumbled another biscuit. The ants came for it again. God, I'm such a good person. The ants definitely won't go hungry tonight. As I watched, my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a message from Joseph. Baby, are you here to pick me up? Yeah, watching ants. I finished the rest of the biscuit, stood up, and called out to him. I'm right here. He turned and walked quickly toward me. I had wanted to go over to him too, but as soon as I took one step, I froze. Crap, my legs had gone numb from squatting too long. We weren't far apart. He got to me quickly and pulled me into a hug. Baby, I missed you so much. I opened my mouth to speak, but then I saw that girl from before staring at us not far away. My brain glitched and I asked, done catching up with your ex? Joseph frowned. What? Nothing, baby. I cut him off. Can we go home first? Enough with the baby. My legs were numb. It hurt. I wanted to die. Joseph held my hand but didn't say a word. In the car, I kept my head down, Googling what to do when your legs go numb, and ignored him. The silence lasted until we got home. My legs finally recovered, and I bounced over to unpack some piled-up deliveries. After opening 2 packages, I got to one with sanitary pads inside. That's when it hit me. I'd forgotten something really important. I grabbed my phone and walked out. Joseph asked, "Where are you going?" I lied. I've been cooped up in the room all day, just going out for some air. He didn't stop me. I wandered around, made a few turns, and bought a pregnancy test at the pharmacy, then went back and followed the instructions. And just like that, it was confirmed. I was pregnant. This is bad, really bad. I want to die. Chapter 4. I rolled around on the bed, opened a certain website, and searched for information about abortion. I even scheduled a checkup at a nearby hospital. Right after the appointment was confirmed, Joseph stepped out of the shower. I quickly closed the app and opened my game, wanting to glance at him but not daring to. My head was a mess. As my game character died once again, Joseph wrapped his arms around me from behind. His kisses trailed along my neck. It tickled. Baby, you secretly looked at me 12 times just now. That many? I hooked my arms around his neck. I didn't just look. I kissed you too. I leaned in and kissed him. Joseph was really kissable. His lips were soft and a little cool, but the more we kissed, the warmer they got. He liked it when I initiated, and then he'd take control. He kissed fiercely. My eyes were hazy as I touched his brows and eyes with my fingertips. Damn, he's really handsome. Great body too. If both parents look this good, the baby would probably be super cute. Panting in his arms, I asked, "What do you think about illegitimate children?" He frowned, clear disgust on his face. I hate them. Oh, better forget about having a kid then. I'm my father's illegitimate child. That would make my child the illegitimate child of an illegitimate child. He'd absolutely hate that. I asked thoughtfully, "What if you did have an illegitimate child?" I wouldn't. I pressed. But what if? He grabbed my wrists and pinned them above my head. I'd take care of it. I asked curiously, "How would you take care of it?" Make both mother and child disappear. Before I had time to be confused, he tore open my pajamas. His voice was husky. "Baby, I don't like hypothetical questions." Joseph cupped my chin and kissed me again, biting my lips with provocative playfulness. "If you keep asking, I'll screw you to death." Huh? Is he a sadist or what? Always talking about screwing me to death. I spaced out. Something didn't feel right. Wait. Where exactly was his hand going? I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that when you're pregnant. I looked up at him with pleading eyes. I'm not feeling so well today. Can we do it a different way? The bedroom carpet was soft and plush. Joseph, however, scooped me up instead. He frowned and touched my forehead. Where does it hurt? He glanced at the calendar and pulled me into his arms. Your period's late this month. Is your lower abdomen cramping? He grabbed a blanket and wrapped me up. I'll go get you some ibuprofen. I quickly stopped him. No, I'm fine. It doesn't hurt. He stared at me for a long time, and only gave up on the medicine once he was sure I wasn't in pain. His warm hand began massaging my belly. Even though I wasn't cramping, the massage felt kind of nice. Sleepiness started creeping in as I asked, "Do you want me to help you out?" He bit my ear, harder than usual. "If you're not feeling well, then sleep. Don't act so thirsty." Speechless. I wasn't acting thirsty. Don't go making stuff up. Chapter 5. The next morning, I was woken up by the sound of my ringtone. No idea who was calling me. Still half asleep, I reached out for my phone but couldn't quite grab it. Go back to sleep, baby. Someone gently patted my back. I was truly exhausted, so I rolled over in his arms and drifted back to sleep. When I woke up again from my second round of sleep, the first thing I saw was a pair of pitch-black eyes. Joseph was staring straight at me. There was something different in his gaze. How to describe it? Usually, when Joseph looked at me in the morning, his eyes were either full of desire or soft with affection. But today, it sent chills down my spine. "Joseph?" I tugged at his sleeve cautiously. "What's going on?" Joseph was holding my phone. He must have answered the morning call. Was it something from the call? I racked my brain trying to figure out who might have called me. Besides telemarketers and my dad, the only other person could be the caregiver. None of those would upset Joseph. So what was it? He twirled a strand of my hair between his fingers and asked hoarsely, "Baby, are you hiding something from me?" I instinctively shook my head. "What are you talking about?" He leaned in and lifted my chin gently. "Then can you tell me what the note in your memo app means about the checkup and abortion appointment?" "Baby, you're pregnant, aren't you?" Shit. I have this habit after researching stuff online. I like to jot everything down in my notes app so I don't have to look it up again later. Yesterday, I'd researched what department to visit, which doctor was good, and typed it all in. Joseph never had the habit of snooping through my phone. I've got all sorts of junk in there. When we first got together, I was still careful, but after realizing he didn't touch my phone, I let my guard down. I stopped living like I had to hide everything. I'd just written that memo yesterday, and today he found it. My breath caught in my throat. Wait a minute. What if he has checked my phone before, and I just didn't notice? I'm doomed. Completely doomed. Let's set aside whether he's been spying all along. The real problem is now. The words came out of my mouth before I could think. No, I'm not. He let go of the hair he was twirling, and the roughness of his fingertips brushed my cheek. Joseph leaned in. Our faces so close our foreheads touched. Our breaths mingled. His voice was calm. "Is that so?" I braced myself and lied. "Yeah, it's my sister. She's pregnant and asked me to go with her." Fabricated a sister on the spot. "Which sister?" "The fifth one. Thanks, sis. I owe you one." Joseph let out a soft laugh. "Her. Huh?" I nodded hard. "Yep, her. Once you start lying, the rest is easier. You know how her marriage is a mess. My dad's out of his mind and won't let them get divorced. When two people don't love each other and still have a kid, of course she wants an abortion. Keeping the child would only make things harder for both the baby and herself." Something in what I said must have struck the wrong nerve, because Joseph's smile vanished instantly. He scoffed coldly and got out of bed. Then he stopped talking to me. Didn't say a word through breakfast either. Now I was nervous. Why is he always getting angry? He was pissed yesterday, and now he's pissed again today. Forget the so-called 7-year itch. 3 years is enough to wear someone down. We've been together long enough for him to start getting sick of me. Sigh. I should try coaxing him. If that doesn't work, then I'll figure it out. I tiptoed to help him fix his tie. Yep, he was definitely mad. He didn't even bother to lean down so I could reach. Feeling pitiful, I wrapped my arms around his neck and clung to him. Joseph, why are you ignoring me? He pulled me off, put on his watch, and walked out the door, leaving behind just one sentence. Figure it out yourself. Chapter 6. I couldn't be bothered to figure it out. Joseph had left, and I needed to head out too. I changed clothes and went to the hospital for a checkup. After running around for hours and waiting for the results, I finally got the pregnancy test report. The result said I was fit for an abortion. I booked the procedure for tomorrow. I'd come back then. Lowering my head, I walked out while reading the test report. So many numbers. I didn't understand most of it. I could only read the part that confirmed it, pregnant. I sighed. I actually kind of liked kids. Such a pity. But Joseph didn't. Guess it just wasn't meant to be. I wasn't watching where I was going and bumped into someone. I instinctively apologized and tried to walk around. But the person I bumped into stepped in front of me again. Regina, I came to see you. Huh? Who's looking for me? I looked up, confused, and saw a face that looked vaguely familiar. I'd seen her yesterday. Joseph's old flame. Chapter 7. We found a table at a cafe and sat down. I don't like coffee, so I ordered a glass of milk. She ordered an iced Americano. Honestly, who enjoys iced Americanos? That stuff tastes like punishment. I sipped my milk. She seemed to be waiting for me to say something. Didn't feel like it. You come to me and still expect me to start the conversation? Who does that? But she was buying me milk. I'd just tolerate it and leave when I was done. Seeing that I hadn't said a word, she finally spoke up. I'm Laura. Joseph and I grew up together. I replied. Oh. Took another sip of milk. Sweet. Pretty good. But not as good as the kind at home. Haven't had it in a while. Kinda miss it. I said, we grew up together. Laura repeated. I nodded. My hearing's not that bad. Thanks. She noticed I wasn't reacting and opened her bag. I zoned out a bit. Hopefully she wasn't about to pull out a fruit knife and stab me. Thankfully, no. She took out a check and slid it across the table to me. I counted. 1, 2, 3, 6 zeros. Starts with a 5. 5 million. This is 5 million. Leave Joseph. I stayed silent for a moment and asked, are you serious? Joseph is loaded. He gives me gifts worth more than that on a regular basis. Hard to understand why Laura thought 5 million would be enough to make me walk away. Of course. She took a sip of her iced Americano and said casually, all those staged coincidences, all the times you put yourself in his path, weren't you doing it for money? She looked me up and down, then smiled. What do you think Joseph would do if he found out you were scheming from the very start? Regina, you'd better quit while you're ahead. If you don't take this 5 million and walk, and he finds out who you really are, your dad's company, and your mom's illness, might run into some accidents. I looked up sharply. My gaze stopped on her face, then dropped to the check. 5 million. That could last me a long time. Laura reminded me. Gold diggers don't usually end well. Know when to quit. But I pushed the check back slowly and said, save your concern. I won't leave him, at least not until he gets tired of me first. Chapter 8. My dad's idea of turning me into money was to literally send me to someone's bed. I was speechless. At the time, my mom was seriously ill, and my dad was on the brink of bankruptcy. And me? I had just graduated from college, earning a salary that did absolutely nothing to help our situation. After an intense mental struggle, I gave up. Fine. I thought, I'd just do what my dad said, be a gold digger. The first time, I was locked in a room. The man who walked in looked disturbingly like a blobfish. Apparently, he was the beloved youngest son of the Chan family, spoiled like a rare jewel. He was very rich, and he was very satisfied with me, but I wasn't satisfied at all. One look at him, and I realized not everyone is cut out to be a gold digger. At least, I wasn't, and even if I was, not with him. The blobfish guy's eyes lit up as he approached me. Just imagining what was about to happen scared me so much. I climbed out the window. Luckily, it was only the second floor. Thank God I'm agile. I scrambled out. Afterward, my dad exploded. Do you have any idea how pissed young Master Chan was? Forget about me paying for your mom's treatment. I had a job, $8,000 a month. To be fair, for a fresh graduate, that's a pretty solid income, but my mom's medication started at 5 figures per month. After she got sick, our savings drained instantly. My dad, busy with his many lovers, didn't care about my mom at all. If I hadn't been good-looking and valuable, he wouldn't have cared about me either. He was furious and cut off all money to me and my mom. I stayed by my mom's bedside in the hospital, holding her hand, watching her sleep peacefully, using every connection I had. I started borrowing money to pay for her treatment, but I had no idea where I'd get the next payment. So I started scrolling through my contacts, the people who had once shown interest in me. Sadly, while a few had money, none were willing to drop hundreds of thousands to save my mom. I spent days convincing myself, fine, Blobfish it is. He has money, right? Finally, I got my head straight and attended a banquet, ready to get close to Blobfish. But when I got there, he already had another woman on his arm. She was clinging to him, laughing sweetly. They looked like a happy couple. I even saw them kiss. I was stunned. I muttered, "Guess not everyone can earn this kind of money." Poor girl. Exactly. Someone replied next to me. Someone had heard me. My need to vent only grew stronger before I saw them kiss. I thought I could tolerate it. Honestly, I know this sounds rude, but just thinking about being with him makes me want to throw up. You were actually considering him? Yeah, I was. I had been ready, and reality knocked me out cold. I need the money. No choice. I guess I'll have to find someone else. I started to dream out loud. You think there's anyone out there who's rich and good-looking? Doesn't matter if they're male, female, old, young, as long as they look good. Oh, and they have to be single. I didn't want to be someone's side chick. Rich and attractive people are either emotionally unavailable or seriously flawed. Otherwise, who would throw money at a gold digger like me? Being rich doesn't mean being stupid. Sigh. I let out a deep breath. I just hope the next rich guy isn't uglier than young Master Chan. There is one. The person next to me spoke again. I turned my head curiously. Who? Introduce us? I'm really pretty. You know, people have been praising me since I was a kid. I'll even give you a referral bonus. I couldn't see their face, just their chest. Huh? Tall. He had to be at least 20 centimeters taller than me. I'm 5 feet 6 inches. That made him 6 feet 2 inches? I slowly looked up and was greeted by the most stunning face I'd ever seen. I swear, if he entered the entertainment industry, he'd be famous in no time. Then I heard him say, "Me." I blinked. What? He bent down so we were eye level, smiled, and asked, "Miss, would you consider someone like me?" And that's how we met. Of course. My father, whose brain is as smooth as glass, got excited when he found out we knew each other. He tried again to shove me into someone's bed. This time, I didn't run. But that's another story. Chapter 9. Lara's so-called inside scoop was all wrong. Joseph had known from the very beginning that I was after money. He just didn't care. When you're rich enough, what's the big deal about spending a little for fun? The problem that had been eating at me suddenly disappeared. My mom got switched to better, more effective medication. She had access to experts I'd never even dared to imagine. Her tumor was in a terrible spot. Every previous doctor said surgery wasn't an option and recommended conservative treatment. But Joseph brought in the top specialist in the field. She had surgery at the start of the year and was now recovering well. Maybe for Joseph, all of this was just a small favor. But for me, it meant the world. He's a really, really good person. And I won't leave him, not until he gets tired of me. Lara can't make me leave him, and neither can a child. I love kids. Joseph doesn't. Then I'll get rid of it. It can't come between us. Thinking about what he said yesterday when I tried to test his reaction, and that chilling look he gave me this morning. Abortion is just a minor procedure. I could make up an excuse and he wouldn't know. I gently touched my belly. What a pity. Your father doesn't want you. Chapter 10. Lara, seeing I didn't take the check, threatened to expose me to Joseph. I ignored her, stopped by the grocery store, and bought some ingredients. Joseph had been in a bad mood these past couple of days. I needed to cheer him up. I grew up in a coastal city in the South. Joseph preferred light flavors. Our food preferences overlapped a lot. Being with him felt easy. I fried 2 eggs and seared some fish, getting ready to make fish soup. The pot was bubbling softly when I tossed the eggs in. The soup turned a milky white. It looked delicious. I covered the pot and was chopping lettuce when Joseph came home. He looked at me when he walked in, but didn't come over to hug me, kiss me, and say, "Baby, I'm home," like he usually did. Yeah, he was definitely still mad. I finished the last dish, shrimp with stir-fried lettuce, and brought everything to the table. Joseph still helped out. He carried the heaviest dish, the fish soup. Once everything was on the table, I scooped him a bowl of rice and looked at him with big, hopeful eyes. "Joseph." His voice was calm. "Do you know what you did wrong?" Me? Nope. I forgot to think about that. I asked cautiously, "Could you maybe give me a little hint?" Joseph gave me a cool glance, then just started eating. "Well, whatever. Might as well eat first. If I don't eat now, the food's going to get cold." I served myself a bowl of fish soup, drank it down in one gulp. Wait, it tasted fishy, really fishy, made me want to gag. I peeked at Joseph. He was still eating. Ugh, swallowed it down anyway. God, so fishy. I looked down and poked at the rice in my bowl. Didn't feel like eating anymore. Joseph was still ignoring me. So annoying. Maybe one more sip of soup would help. I lifted the spoon, scooped a bit, and right before I could drink it, he took the entire bowl, spoon and all. I looked up. He said his second sentence since coming home. "If you don't want it, don't force yourself." He was so fierce, not even letting me eat. I muttered, "Okay, this time." He reached out and ruffled my hair. "It's normal to be sensitive to smells when you're pregnant. Don't push yourself." He picked up a piece of tofu for me. "But you didn't eat much. Try this instead." Didn't really want that either. Then he pulled me onto his lap. "Sweetheart, open up. I'll feed you." Me? His voice was so gentle. I looked down at the tofu. "I made it. I'm a great cook. Everything I make looks, smells, and tastes amazing." I took a bite, and he praised me. "Good girl. You finished the whole thing." Okay, that was a bit over the top. Felt like we weren't eating dinner, we were flirting over dinner. The mood was getting there. I wrapped my arms around his neck and whispered, "Honey, I want something else. Will you feed me?" So he fed me a piece of black pepper steak. Chapter 11. It wasn't until after dinner that I realized something was off. What did Joseph say earlier? I stared at his back as he tidied up the dishes. After he placed everything in the dishwasher, I hugged him from behind, with my cheek pressed against his back. I asked softly, "Are you still mad at me, big brother?" Joseph turned around. "Don't call me big brother." Oh, he was mad. He used to coax me into calling him that, but now that I did it on my own, he told me not to. Suddenly, Joseph pressed me against the kitchen wall. A dominating kiss crashed down on me. By the time he let me go, tears had welled up in the corners of my eyes. "Don't call me big brother, especially while you're pregnant," he said. "If you don't want me to kill you after the baby's born, behave." I blinked slowly. "That's it?" He pinched my chin. "What else do you want, baby?" I didn't answer. I leaned against his chest. "How did you find out?" Joseph was blunt. "I know everything about you, Regina. Cancel the abortion appointment. You spent the whole day confused about why I was mad. And then you went and scheduled an abortion again. And you still have the nerve to ask why I'm angry?" I muttered. "You said you didn't like kids. I was just going along with what you wanted." He lifted me onto the kitchen counter, his palm brushing over my belly. It was a little rounded, but that was just from eating too much earlier, not the baby. "Regina, what you should have asked me was, I'm pregnant. Do we want this child? Not, what would you do if you had an illegitimate child?" I turned my face away. "What's the difference?" He cupped my face and turned it back. "There is a difference. Our child will be legitimate." He rested his forehead against mine, and his tone suddenly turned dangerously low. "Or is it that Miss Regina never thought about marrying me?" My eyes flickered guiltily. No, I hadn't thought about it. He only got with me because I'm pretty. I'm 25 now. That's still young by today's standards, but there will always be someone younger than you. Someone like Joseph is in high demand. Just look at Laura, if he wanted. A mere gesture would bring a swarm of women running to him. Just like with me, I have plenty of admirers. And even now, some old classmates send me vague, flirtatious messages. But Joseph has one irresistible trait I don't. He's rich. You don't even need to think hard to know how many people want him. And when it comes to physical attraction, once is never the end of it. If we really got married, I probably couldn't handle him cheating. I'd lose it. It'd get ugly. Joseph pinched my chin, his tone utterly flat. So you can tolerate it now? No, I couldn't. Seeing him with Laura last time had already annoyed me. But I wasn't supposed to be annoyed. I shouldn't throw a tantrum at him. He's a good man. He's helped me a lot. I bit my lip. I'm sorry. He sighed. Baby, what are you apologizing for? I'm happy that you'd get angry because of me. He tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear. I like seeing you care. I looked at him in confusion. Why? Joseph leaned down and kissed me. Because I love you. Chapter 12. Joseph told me he liked our baby. Don't get rid of it. I'm not mad because you're pregnant. I'm mad because you didn't tell me. Your first instinct was to secretly have an abortion. Joseph had finally realized that letting me reflect on my own wasn't going to work. The more I guessed, the worse it got. Why did you deny it when I asked if you were pregnant? My eyes darted away. I curled myself up and wedged into the corner of the sofa. I had a feeling I was about to get scolded. I covered my ears. Don't yell at me too harshly. I'm fragile. Okay? Joseph pried my hands away. I looked at him pitifully. I can't even cover my ears? So I had to hear it? Fine, I'll listen. If he makes me cry, I'll just go cry in secret afterward. I'm not going to scold you. Really? Really? I stared at him for a while, making sure he wasn't lying. Then I reached out and wrapped my arms around his neck. You're not yelling at me. You're a good person. Joseph picked me up and sked. Where did you learn to hand out good person cards like that? Tell me, how many people have you said that to? I denied it outright. Just you. Really? I nodded hard. Yes. He replied coolly. I've personally seen you say that to at least 3 people. Huh? Baby, compulsive lying isn't a good habit. Joseph laid me on the bed and pulled a pen from the drawer. The tip of the ballpoint pen rolled across my collarbone. It tickled. I looked down and saw he had drawn 2 oranges on my skin. Joseph gently stroked his artwork, clearly satisfied. Even though we had done way more intimate things, I still couldn't stop my ears from turning red. Baby, that's twice now. How about this? Every time you lie to me, you owe me 1 request. Deal? I stammered. What kind of request? The first one is... My heart jumped to my throat. Trust me a little more. Sorry for not giving you enough of a sense of security. Chapter 13. Joseph wanted me to trust him more, but I didn't know how to start. He guided me, asked me what I did today, if I ran into anyone. I was going to make something up, but when I looked into his eyes, the lie stuck in my throat. After hesitating for a moment, I said, I went to the hospital, ran into your childhood sweetheart. Joseph's tone lifted at the end. I realized I messed up. No, not your childhood sweetheart, Laura. I wrapped my arms around his waist and acted coy. She said she was your childhood sweetheart. I was just repeating what she said. I didn't believe it. Actually, I kind of did. But then I remembered, Joseph once told me she was just some middle school classmate he couldn't even remember the name of. He asked me to trust him a little more. I looked up. If you want me to trust you, you'll believe what I say too, right? He pinched my cheek, his eyes full of laughter. I believe you. I started rambling. Laura offered me $5 million to leave you. Did baby agree to it? Of course not. He patted my head. Finally did something right. Let's give baby a little reward. I hesitated. Can we not? Joseph used to give me rewards too, regularly. But his kind of reward, not sure who it was rewarding. My cheeks began to flush. At least wait 3 months, okay? It's still early in the pregnancy, let's skip the rewards for now. He chuckled. Baby's mind is full of naughty thoughts. He picked up my phone and waved it in front of me. I saw it clearly. A text from the bank. Incoming transfer, 5 million yen, 00. I froze. Want it? If not, I'll take it back. I sat up and smothered him with kisses. I want it. Joseph, you really are a good person. He held me so I wouldn't fall. Baby, there's something I'd rather hear. He stared straight into my eyes. I slowly backed away and said, I love you. Chapter 14. Sometimes, I don't realize things until someone points them out, like how Joseph always informs me of everything he does. There's nothing he keeps from me, as long as I ask. He tells me. It was a Sunday afternoon, after lunch. We were in the study. Joseph was reading a book. When he reads, he wears a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. The chain swings lightly with his movements, giving off that refined but dangerous vibe. Especially right now. His book hadn't been turned in a while. His Adam's apple moved as he asked, Baby, are you having fun? I smiled sweetly. You keep reading, okay? He loosened his tie and turned the page, but his eyes were slightly red, and the vein on his forehead was twitching. Still, he listened so obediently. After I had my fun and snuggled into his arms, the book had only progressed by 2 pages since he started. I scolded him. You're not serious about reading at all. Next time. This isn't allowed, okay? He intertwined our fingers. Baby. After the baby is born. After the baby is born. After the baby is born. I'd heard him say that so many times already. At this point, I had nothing to lose, so whatever. Let future Regina deal with future problems. For now, whatever he says, the worst he can do is kiss me senseless. Seeing that I had no intention to continue playing, he finally pulled out a thick binder. All right, time to choose the wedding decorations. Which one do you like? The dazzling array of designs made my head spin. I liked this one. I liked that one. I wanted them all. I blurted out. Maybe we should just get married, then divorced, and then married again a few more times? And that got Joseph to mentally note down another offense. Ugh, I was just joking. His second request was that I marry him. We didn't even have a wedding. We just registered our marriage. It was on some random, unremarkable weekday. Joseph woke me up and said he was taking me out. I was half asleep, mind fuzzy. He carried me into the bathroom to wash up. Where are we going? You'll see soon. Then we ended up playing at the Civil Affairs Bureau. I stood at the entrance and asked him, Is this really where we're going for fun? He was completely unfazed. Yes. I was speechless. Well, since we were already here, so we picked up our red marriage certificates. Luckily, that wasn't the only item on Joseph's itinerary. In the afternoon, we went to an orange grove to pick oranges. I picked a whole basket and snuck one to eat. It was sweet and delicious. I couldn't finish the whole thing, so I gave the rest to Joseph. He took a bite. I just ate the baby. No eating allowed. I'm eating it anyway. No. I tried to snatch the orange from his hand, but Joseph shoved the whole thing into his mouth. I pounced on him. You didn't even leave me a slice. He caught me effortlessly. There's nothing left. Baby's been completely devoured. Shameless. He ate an orange. Not me. After a full day of fun, I was exhausted and fell asleep leaning on his shoulder. The autumn sunlight was soft and warm. I slept deeply and peacefully. In my dream, I saw my 17-year-old self, clutching books as I walked through the trees on my high school campus. Ripe oranges hung from the branches. I reached out to pick one and brushed fingertips with someone else. In real life, I had just said sorry and turned away. But in the dream, I looked up and saw a familiar face. The slightly younger version of him smiled at me and asked, Classmate Regina, do you still remember me? Extra story. Regina didn't remember me. At the banquet, she was sneaking behind a couple, trailing them like a thief, stealing glances. The woman was pretty. The man, his name was something like Chan, looked like a blobfish. She followed them, and I followed her. After a short while, she stopped. Stunned, I casually glanced over. The couple was kissing. She murmured, Turns out not everyone can earn money this way. I really can't do it. I talked to her and realized she had actually considered being with that blobfish. Because she was short on money. If the blobfish was an option, Then why wasn't I? I coaxed her gently. How about considering me instead? She thought I was just driven by lust. But I wasn't. It was because she had forgotten me. She probably didn't remember that when she was little. She lived with her mother in a small southern town, downstairs in their residential block. There was always a little boy who never spoke. Nobody liked him, only she would say hi when she saw him. Brother, I'll share some of my candy with you. Mommy bought me a big bag today. It's really sweet. Brother, my mom made little cookies today. Try one. Brother, this orange is from the orchard I went to today. It's so good. My favorite fruit is oranges. She was friends with every kid in the neighborhood. It didn't matter if you were human or ghost, if you passed by. She'd strike up a conversation. Even passing dogs got asked if they wanted a meat stick. I was just one of the many. And she didn't remember me. But so what? I kissed her as she drifted between sleep and wakefulness. Baby, call me hubby. She mumbled sleepily. Stop it. Hubby. I'm tired. The autumn night was soft. She slept in my arms.